Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. The meeting will be starting shortly. While we wait, let's learn more about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well. Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. The meeting will be starting shortly. While we wait, let's learn more about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Greetings. Hello, this is the March 9th, 2022 Exeter Water and Sewer Advisory Committee meeting. Apologize for you folks who are Zooming in. We had some participation issues needing to get a quorum here, so it took us a little longer. As you can see, it's just Molly and I, and Mark Fabian is going to be Zooming in for our quorum. So again, apologize for the wait. Again, the attendees this evening are myself, Bob Kelly, the chair of the committee, and Molly Cowan, who's the select board representative to the committee.
Hi, folks.
And Mark Fabian will be joining us shortly. We'll start off with the abatement requests. Generally take them in order, but in this case, Sally will hear you first since you've been at it a number of months with us.
We have.
So let me pull up your info. This is 1 Hampton Road. So when we met last time, we had agreed to a 50% abatement for water and sewer, given the circumstances of the problem. And then we had said that you had indicated there were parts of the building that had not necessarily been sussed out yet. And my understanding is we gave you to the end of the year to finalize that, and it looks like you've done that? Is that?
We didn't get it done by the end of the year, just having a hard time finding people who wanted to work on a Sunday. We actually found the problem on February 13th on a Sunday. And it turned out to be a bathroom that wasn't made aware of us. It was in the dialysis lab, and they hadn't shown it to the plumbers prior, and that toilet was basically just the flapper was open on it, just running, which has now been repaired.
It has been.
And the water bill immediately went down, but it just took us so long to find it.
Yeah, the building's not totally occupied, is that correct?
We only have one office that's empty.
Okay. So why did it take so long to find it?
Just, we replaced toilets. We thought it was a piece of equipment in the lab on the 3rd floor, and they basically run pretty much 24/7. And to be honest, just trying to get a plumber that could work on a weekend, it had to be done on a Sunday. And ultimately, our HVAC plumbers were the ones who were able to do that for us. And I also lost the gentleman that was our maintenance for the building, quit quite suddenly. So that kind of hampered things a little bit too. So it just took us so long just trying to weed it out, I guess.
Okay. In looking at the bills toward the end of the year, it looks like if we continued the approach, the 50% abatement would total, the abated portion would be approximately $5,100.
Okay.
And I think, the committee discussed it at length the last time you were here, and everyone felt pretty comfortable with the 50%. So if you feel we'll just continue with that approach, and I'll add up the exact amount here.
Can we wait until Mark Fabian joins so that
Sure.
we can have a quorum to vote on it?
Yes. So if you don't have to necessarily hang, Sally, but Molly and I would support a 50% water and sewer abatement, which, like I say, would be approximately $5,100.
Okay.
And
do you need anything on my end, or
no, we
is that
will
something I'll
vote
just
on it.
talk?
We will vote on it,
Okay.
and you'll get a notification as to what the abatement is in your next bill.
Okay, very
So
good.
you don't, like I say, you don't have to hang around. The two of us agree, and Mark will be voting, for a quorum.
Okay, very good. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You bet. Take care.
Take care.
So next would be Mr. Hancock, Bill Hancock at 65 Columbus Avenue. I think he's on. So Bill, you want to unmute yourself and have your video on. Maybe they need to do that inside.
Is he up? Is Mark?
Hey, Mark.
There's no Zoom.
Okay. Yeah, the guy at Exeter TV was going to do that.
Is it on? Let's see.
We'll get it to you here in a minute.
I thought it was in there.
Hold
I
on.
didn't even look.
Not a problem.
Can we just keep him on?
Why don't you talk to him?
Hey, Mark.
Hello.
Okay, Bill, are you able to join us? Bill Hancock?
Is he? I don't.
Yeah, but I think they have to unmute him.
They have to is it on the? Let's see.
Sorry, Bill. I'm sure you're sitting there waiting to get shown. We need to get our IT
Mark,
folks
I'm gonna take you back. Hang on.
and make sure and just have him unmute Bill.
Were you able to send him the
Is it E-N-V-I-R-O?
Enviro Fabian?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
it's
Exactly.
Fabian.
V-I-A-N.
Yes.
And can you unmute Bill Hancock for me?
Can you unmute Bill Hancock?
Apologize for the technical difficulties here.
All right, Mark. I'm gonna stay on the phone with you until you get this email.
All right, thank you so much.
Sure thing.
This is
No.
Holly.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. Technical difficulties
Yeah,
here.
no, it's okay. Well, these people have been waiting for a while, so,
Yeah.
we just appreciate you being available for this forum here.
Yeah, no, I feel bad. I wasn't caught up with emails.
No, don't even worry about it. Okay, did you send it to him? Or do you want to send it to me? Because you got it?
I got it.
All right, my friend. I'll see you soon.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What?
It's working.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, can you
He's
see
on.
me now?
Yeah, I can. Thank you. Apologize for the delay.
Oh, no problem.
So just looking at your file, it looks like, and I'm sure it wasn't you, right, who left on the soaker hose?
No,
It was out at the she
wasn't.
shed. Your wife did a wonderful job on our landscaping last fall. So,
Be thrilled to hear that. Yeah.
so soaker hose was left on, and you had a little bit of usage, it looks like.
Yeah, they did. They came and did the leak test, and that pretty much was it right there. I mean, they didn't find anything in the house, so. I mean, once we figured that out, I think our bills went right back to normal after that.
Right.
So.
Normally, when there is no sewer usage, we will abate the full amount of the sewer usage because obviously you didn't use the service. In a case
Correct,
where, such as this, that realistically it's somewhat homeowner error. We generally split the abatement with you. We, call it a 50% abatement. For some reason, our Public Works Department did not actually calculate a half water and full sewer abatement. It's going to be somewhere on the order around $300. But I will get you the exact amount after I discuss it with DPW in the morning. I tried to get an answer from them today as to what the exact amount would be. But like I say, if we give you half for both water and sewer, it's about $274, and a full abatement of sewer is $332. So I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. So I knew it was our fault, but yeah, I figured that was, just try to get some of that sewer.
Like I said, we're trying to, mistakes happen, accidents happen, so we generally split the freight with you. We have another member with the snow and everything. We're having a difficulty getting a quorum. So we're having another member Zoom in a few minutes here. So we're not going to be able to vote on it right now, but does that work for you?
I think is he not on yet?
He is not.
Okay, yes. So then let's wait for him and then we'll vote.
So we will vote on it when he weighs in, but again, there he is. So Mark, if they can bring Mark into the meeting, there we go. Great. All right. So I will make a motion to abate for 65 Columbus Avenue, 50% of the water usage and 100% of the sewer usage. And I will get the exact amount, and that will be relayed to you in your next bill.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, second? So Mark, just to bring you up to speed, this was 65 Columbus on the abatement. There was a soaker hose that was left on. So we have moved and seconded a motion to abate half of the water usage and full sewer usage since they didn't use the sewer. So we'll do a roll call vote since you're zooming in. So how would you vote on this, Mark?
Aye.
Molly?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So, Bill, you're still with us. So you will get that approved, and I'll get the exact number for you tomorrow. But we've approved an abatement for half the water usage and full sewer usage for that bill.
Excellent, thank you.
All right. Thanks for weighing in.
Excellent. Have a good night, guys.
Yep.
Cheers,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye-bye.
So, Mark, on the first one, One Hampton Road, you may recall from last fall, that's the Access Medicine building over there, and there were some leaks that they were chasing around the building, various tenants, and we had agreed last fall to a 50% water and sewer reduction because it was thought to be either in an empty tenant space or a seldom used part of one of the tenants. And we gave them the end of the year to finalize their repairs because of COVID and other things. They weren't able to get it actually repaired until February, but they have repaired it. The total bill, we'll add it up. It'll be approximately $5,100 is the abated portion. And I've moved and Molly seconded that. So do you have any questions on what we did?
No, so I'm just trying to remember this year. So it's high because it's a very high traffic building.
Yes. And because it used to have a number of medical offices, and now I think there are larger tenant spaces than there were before. So it's the building's sort of carved up. So they were having a hard time sort of chasing down where the leak was. And it was sort of compounded by not being able to get a plumber to get out there and spend, a week or so trying to figure it out.
Okay, so it was first detected in February, was it?
Last year.
Last year, yes.
February of last year.
2021. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they didn't really realize, so we had approved, I think it was last September, or maybe it was later than that, but I think it was a third quarter abatement. And then we said that we would abate, the end of the fall bills because it might take them some time to fix it, so.
Yeah, okay. So we're doing 50% of each?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I think that sounds reasonable based on.
Okay, and you vote
Look,
aye.
look,
you
yeah,
second.
yeah.
Okay,
I'll vote
so
aye.
we've moved, seconded, and voted to approve that. I'll get the exact number here in a little bit, but
Okay.
we will do that. Okay, number 3 is,
Margaret Palladino.
yeah, she's not here, so I'm going to skip over to Mary Donovan. I'm sorry, to, Mary Donovan at Tuck Properties, because she is with us.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Bill Donovan.
Oh, hi, how are you doing?
Okay. Mary couldn't be here, so she asked me to connect in.
Okay, let's, so this is 9 Forest Street. Looks like you had a tenant that was away over just the holidays, and they didn't
Yes.
notify you that a toilet was running. And when you were able to, between holidays and availability, it looks like you got it fixed. Is that a fair summary?
That sounds like a fair summary, yes.
I was, any comments, Mark or Molly, on this?
No, I think it falls into the things that we've been choosing to abate.
My only thinking was that with them, their tenant being away, that instead of doing the 50% is maybe make it 80%, just because they had no way of knowing
Sure.
that the toilet was running until they returned. Is that accurate? That you didn't know about the toilet running until they came back from the holidays?
Right. We found out because the water department let us know. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to figure it out. But I think we found it out quicker because the water department told us, and we got on it right away. Because the tenant, we had it fixed before the tenant got back, if I understand correctly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So
Yeah.
we'll reward you for your diligence. So do you have any comments one way or the other, Mark?
No, I mean, I agree that since there was a quick response time, even given the challenges of having a rental property, I think that 80% sounds reasonable because this is, it's a little bit out of control when you have a rental property, and they were very responsive. So I would agree with the 80% for water and sewer.
Okay. So I'll move an abatement of $622.54 on that bill, which would be an 80% abatement for the excess water and sewer usage that you guys had during that period. Do I hear a second?
Okay, we appreciate that.
I'll second that.
Okay, thanks. And Molly, you agree with that?
I vote yes.
Okay, so we'll vote 3-0 to approve that, and you'll get a notice on your next bill.
All right.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much. No, I don't. I guess I'll log off then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next one, it looks like Mark DeVries at 23 First Street. So this is a similar Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Good. So it looks like there was a hose last fall that had been kept on by mistake outside.
I had just shut off the nozzle and thrown the hose down so that it wasn't running until the freeze came.
Right.
But I had not turned off the faucet apparently. So that when the freeze
These
came,
things happen.
yeah, I burst the hose and voila.
So I would look at this as similar to this Columbus Ave one where there was an accident and abate 50% of the water and 100% of the sewer since there was no yard drain or any catch basin or anything near where the leak ran into. It just soaked into the ground, right?
Yeah, it just happened to be in the place right next to the air conditioner, and it's a mobile home, and the park owner had built a little dry well full of gravel there. So laying on top of this place that's built to absorb water.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there wasn't any surface appearance, and it's covered by leaves and snow and all that.
So it looks
just
like from
happened-
the amount of money, it looks like you must have had the spigot on pretty much full blast because it looks like you lost quite a bit of water.
Yeah, it probably was on pretty good.
Well,
Was a
like I
lot.
said, these things happen. I will move that we abate half of the excess water usage and 100% of the excess sewer usage. The DPW didn't calculate that specifically. It's going to be somewhere around $2,500 or $2,600 abated off of that bill. And we'll get you the exact amount on your next bill as to what that would be.
Bob, a quick discussion point. I think
Sure.
it's just worth noting, and as long as things haven't changed, and this is a one-time abatement in a 10-year period, is that correct?
That is correct.
We just want to make that clear that, yeah, I mean, this is something that we do offer as a sort of understanding and
Yeah.
a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I saw that in the policy notes that they sent me. I pretty
Well,
understand that.
Some people just do their 1 in 10 years for a few $100, so you're making full use of your get out of jail free card.
Yeah, that's awful. I'm sorry. I'd be prepared to pay more if you made me. But I'm not
Okay.
asking for it.
So I will move the amount of somewhere in the $2,500, $2,600 range. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. And Molly, you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay, so we've approved 3-0, Mark, and you'll be getting notification of the exact amount on your next bill.
Okay, and what am I to do with my current bill? What amount should I pay?
Well, what I would do is pay some of it.
Okay,
So the total bill is $4,400. We're going to be abating a little bit more than half. I mean, I would pay, $1,500 of it
okay,
or so, and then pretty much the rest of it would be abated. But it's always better if you pay something,
yes,
just so that you don't go into, the dunning notices and that sort of thing.
okay, thank you. I shall do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
So are either Andy or Don Kohler
I'm
with
here.
us?
Andy.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going? Did you get some sleep last night?
We spent about 17 hours together yesterday. Hello.
yes, we did. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Holding up?
Holding up.
So,
What you got? Let's see.
what do we have here?
Linden.
So looks like this was a vacant home at the time that the leak was discovered?
Correct.
And when the DPW, it talks about the owners. Is that you? Is that you folks?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
we are the owners.
Okay. It is sort of unclear as to who was, so it looks like DPW, fixed it, but there was a fire, so there were some issues with the contractor. But all, the upshot of it is that it's been fixed at this point.
Yes, actually, we're not in the house.
Right.
And we won't be back in the house until the end of this month. So the contractors are the ones that found the leak because we weren't there. So they immediately called me. I called the fire department. I called DPW. We got it, pumped out, and we got a plumber. Finally got a plumber, and they fixed it, and we're all set to go as far as I know.
Okay. A couple, yeah.
DPW did have to replace the water meter, and the leak was before the water meter, and I don't know how long that was. But I know that DPW, when we found the leak, the day that we found the leak, DPW replaced the meter, and the plumber, we had thought we were gonna, keep the water shut off and wait until the spring. But we can't because our insurance company told us we needed to be out of this apartment and we need to be back in the house by March 30th. So I called the plumber, and the plumber immediately came over. We scheduled an appointment. They came over and fixed it. And as far as I know, it looked good when they left. So.
Okay. But so there was a fire, and they found the water leak while they were doing work to repair some of that damage. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So there was no, like a real increased bill prior to that?
No.
Huh. So maybe the fire stressed the system or something.
I don't know. I know that the cellar was full of water, completely full. It was draining out of our cellar into a pond that we have behind our house, which is a natural pond, so.
So, I was thinking either 80 or even 100. That's sort of a catastrophic
I
situation.
know. I agree.
Can I just ask, Andrea, was there any?
Yeah.
I'm just to, just be sure, are you 100% certain that none of the construction work after the fire would have caused the damage to the pipe?
No.
You're
No,
just,
because the only thing that the contractors were using were the bathroom. And they actually, our kitchen is completely stripped. We have no water in the kitchen. They shut it off. The only water that we have is going to the toilet and the shower at that time.
so the contractors weren't working in the basement area where the problem?
No.
Okay, great.
No,
Just want to make sure, thanks.
yeah.
And prior to that happening, it's just you and your husband living there, right?
Correct. And my son. I have a son.
Okay. Because it says that the leak was about 29,000 gallons, which is a lot.
Right, exactly. Well, the contractors found it. We weren't living in the house. My son, none of us were there.
Yeah.
So the only people that were there were the contractors.
Right.
And they called me and said, "You got a leak." And I'm like, okay. So I immediately went over, and yep, it was coming out of the cellar.
Do you have any thoughts on this one, Mark?
Well, no, I mean, I think that the owners did what they could. This is a really tricky spot to have a leak because it's before the meter. So I think there's no pressure loss within the house. I mean, that's the full pressure coming in. So I can understand how it would be a pretty large leak. So I think that, I would say that probably consistent with what we've been doing, that 80% of water and sewer would probably be reasonable for this case.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm thinking that considering it happened while they were out of the house and due to a sort of a catastrophic situation, I'm almost thinking that maybe there should be a full abatement, because there's really no complicity by the by the homeowner in this case. It's not like, they left a hose on or something like that. This was totally out of their control, just as a thought.
But just with consistency with our other cases, is usually we say, this is still the responsibility of the homeowner, even if it is right before the meter, isn't that correct?
Yeah, you're right about that. It would be consistent. Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry,
with
go
that?
ahead.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so Andy, what we're talking about, there would be an 80% abatement of the excess water and sewer used during that period, which would be $641.47. So I will move that. Here a second.
Second.
Mark, how do you vote?
Well, sorry, I didn't know that we were done discussing it. But I was just saying that, just to be consistent with some of the other cases, we had been saying that, that is within the realm of what's the responsibility of the owner. Even though it is an unfortunate, case that was pretty much out of the control of the owner, but we do say that what the plumbing within that house is their responsibility.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So that's just what I'm saying. Just to be consistent, I want to be fair with what we're saying.
Yeah, and I was just being soft. You were right to bring it to our attention. And it's not a lot of money, the difference, and you're right to be consistent. If it is in the home, it is for better or for worse, the homeowner's responsibility, but we will abate more than our usual 50%. We'll go at 80%, given the circumstances. So that would be the $641.47.
That's fine with.
Does that work for you, Mark?
That works for me.
Okay. So Andy, you'll get some sort of notice on your next bill of a credit for $641.47.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next is,
I think that's, we can go through the other ones, but it looks like.
nobody else is on.
Here.
Correct. So we'll go back up to the top, Mark. Nobody else is waiting on Zoom. So the next one is 114 Front Street.
Right.
Margaret Palladino.
Good.
This looks pretty standard. There was a toilet running. They had a plumber called. They needed a new filler valve and flapper. And since they've repaired it, everything has gone back to normal.
So, and they were relatively quick to repair this, right? So,
Yes.
was
I think this
July-
falls in our standard, our 50%,
Yeah.
but certainly willing to have discussion.
Yeah, I think the 50% is probably standard because it was something that could have been avoided with more maintenance, I suppose. But, we do want to offer something, so.
Well, like you said, they are responsible for the internal plumbing, and we've adopted a policy of meeting them halfway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's much more, short of them not being in the house, which then we address an 80% abatement. But if they're there, it's their responsibilities. But we will meet them halfway. So I would move that we abate half of the excess water and sewer, which is $370.09. Second?
Second.
I will, yep. Okay. I'll say
Okay,
aye.
Mark, how do you vote? Mark, how do you vote?
I would, aye. Aye, yep.
Molly?
Aye.
Okay, it passes 3-0. Next one is the YMCA at 56 Linden Street. This sort of an interesting one. I guess there's a trailer on their site. I don't recall ever seeing that. Not that I drive by the Y that much, but
I have actually. I think it's my daughter has a preschool right over there, so I think it's on the sort of Seco School technology side. So I
right.
think I know exactly what they're. Yeah.
Well, at any rate, they had a problem finding the actual shutoffs even after they sussed out the leak. So it still doesn't seem like their usage was that much.
No.
I almost, because I think, is this the one? Yeah, he says, it's entirely our fault, but we could really use your help on this. You know, but a 50% abatement is only $255. So, you know, I almost want to say, do you want to wait and see if something worse happens? But, you know, the 10-year abatement is pretty well spelled out in the policy. So,
Did they? I'm just reading this here. Did they actually say where in the trailer the leak was? It was a ball valve.
yeah, they thought that's what it was, and he said that. Says they have no idea where the leak started. It was dumping out the back sliding door of the trailer. They ended up just sort of looking for various valves that they could turn to shut it off, and eventually they found it. So I don't think they ever really defined where it was outside of the fact that it was inside.
It doesn't sound like a very large leak, though.
No.
As we've seen from in that amount of time, you can rack up quite a bit of a bill. So
Right.
yeah, it must have been
But
like.
I mean, he did say that he could use our help. So I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Can we say that we would offer 50% water and sewer, but give them the option of, declining the abatement just to let them know that this is only a 1 to 10 year.
Sure, we can do that.
Because the YMCA is, this is the YMCA is the client, so this includes their entire campus, right? So if they had any more major issue, that would be it's the same client, right? That would have that 1 in 10 year chance.
It's the property owner or whoever is paying the bill.
Yeah, so we would.
I will do
they have
that.
the potential to have a much bigger problem than this. So.
Yeah, lucky they don't have a pool, right?
Don't.
Not yet.
Not funny.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'll move the 50% at $255.36, and I will give them the option of declining this in order to keep their 10-year window for potentially a larger issue down the road.
When they do get a pool, right?
Right, that's right.
Sorry.
That's right.
Let's get the rec, the public safety complex built first before we go through that. So a second on the on our decision. Mark, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Molly?
Aye.
Okay, I will take care of the details with them. Next one is Kevin Cormier at 61 Acadia Lane. This one was interesting. So this is that newish
Yeah.
complex over next to the wreck. The way he describes it, it sounds like it's a condo.
Yikes.
What did he say?
I don't,
Yeah, he said that the condominium complex originally had 1 meter for the whole facility. I mean, this is a brand new construction. I mean, it says individual meters were installed last March. I find it hard to believe that just a few years after they built it, they would have that kind of expense, but whatever.
well, also, I mean, the cost of water has been rising, so
Yeah.
it doesn't appear that anything is abnormal, or, I mean, I think that this would be setting a very weird precedent.
For what? To do what? What do you mean?
Well, because it looks like they're asking for an abatement because the bills were just larger.
Right.
Like, there's no problem.
Oh, I agree, and they're not significant.
Right.
It's, if we did the half, it'd be it'd be $100, $170. So, any thoughts, Mark?
I'm just trying to read through this here. So it looked like, did they actually find a problem?
No, they had technicians come in. So they said the washer and toilet, so it was built in 19. The washer and the toilets were energy efficient, and they did not identify any leaks. So Molly's right. It seems like they're a little bit surprised that their usage was up because they don't have any visitors and there's only 2 people, but there was nothing really wrong. So there's nothing really to abate here. And
Yeah,
we did
I don't
raise
think
rates. We did raise rates last summer.
Right.
So, maybe they were just reacting to a larger bill than they had anticipated.
Yeah.
I don't think we normally would offer any abatement for a problem that hasn't been solved. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, or a problem that is we're not even sure if it exists. So yeah, I would say that this would be a denial for now, unless they can come back with something more concrete.
Okay, I'll take that as a motion. I will second a denial of their request for abatement on the grounds that they did not provide any determination of a leak or amount of water used to be abated.
Yep.
Okay, Mark, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Molly?
Aye.
Okay. And then the last one is Ruth Halpin at 40 Hampton Road. It looks to me, if I'm reading this right, that the ratepayer is in Florida, and she'd been contacted by Public Works that they had higher usage, and she says that she will fix it when she gets back from Florida. The use of the excess usage is not significant right now. So I would be inclined to, until she gets the leak fixed, at the risk of it, possibly being more usage, I would hesitate to agree to an abatement if the leak hasn't been fixed yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Any thoughts, Molly, on your end?
No, I agree.
I mean, especially if she hasn't finished it, it will increase. So, likely. So why not? Yeah, why not wait till this is all resolved and then actually ask for another abatement, since this is a 1 in 10 year thing. So we could offer that recommendation.
I agree.
Okay, so I will call that a motion and a second, and I agree with that. And I will notify her accordingly. All right, thank you. I just have one minor thing otherwise to discuss. And I will talk it through with you, Mark. I copied some handouts. Russ had indicated to me a few weeks ago that the water and sewer funds were both looking at a slight deficit between now and the end of the year. The deficit on the water side is $120,507. And to get that up to a balanced amount would require a rate adjustment of an increase of 3.52% sometime in the next few months.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And on the sewer side, there's a projected deficit of $244,116, and that would require an adjustment of, 3.85% to adjust it. And Russ did a sample bill calculation. And the difference in water bill would be less than $4. And on the sewer bill would be about $7 increase.
That was for the average bill?
And my thinking was, if you looked, we got the financial reports from Laura a few weeks ago. The water fund currently has an unassigned fund balance of about $2.4 million.
That's exactly what I was gonna.
And the sewer fund has an unassigned of almost $3.5 million. So I think where Molly was just going, and I was going to suggest, is let's balance these funds out of the fund balance instead of going for a rate increase.
Agreed.
Because I think the ratepayers have taken on quite a bit in the last couple of years. We've asked them to fund a lot of repairs and equipment purchases on both the water and the sewer side. I think this past year, the water, both of them went up 5 or 6%. So I'm inclined to give them a break if we can.
So Bob, I haven't actually seen I don't know if we got a financial statement for this meeting or not.
Yeah, we got them. Laura sent them out a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I'd have to go back and look at that. But I guess just, is there an analysis or an assessment done as to why these rates, why we have these deficits right now? does it have to do with increased material costs or anything like that? Because I mean, we generally plan for this, right? So is there a reason why that they can identify as to why we have these deficits right now?
Yeah, I think there's two, and again, it's hard to say exactly what the reason is, but both Russ and I have theorized that the reason why the fund balances are so high is we did increase the rates last summer because we were running down, close to the bone on the budgets. And with sort of continued COVID and people staying at home, working remotely and all of that, into the fall and early part of this year, is that we've been basically getting a lot more revenue than we normally would, especially in the winter. Winter is usually our downtime or our low period for revenue, but over the last 9 months, our revenue has gone up quite a bit because more people are using water. And the projections are, because with the recently or the approved budget last night, that that those rates would not carry to the end of the year. That'd be 18 months, which is a long time for the rate increase that we did last year to be able to basically carry 2 budgets. So it's sort of the reason why the fund balance is so high is because not a lot of people are leaving their homes during the day. They're using the water. That's good news for the fund balance, but 18 months is a long time to carry that. And what I think Molly and I are suggesting is because the amount overage is fairly small, 120,000 on the water fund with a surplus of $2.4 million and $244,000 on the sewer side with a fund balance of $3.5 million. It just seems like, much as we do with the town and the general fund to try to keep taxes low, this would be a similar approach.
I would agree 100%. I'm just trying to understand a little bit of why there is this deficit. Is this a common deficit amount to be having? I mean, it's relatively small based on the operating budgets. I do understand that.
It's hard because
solve the problem, right? So.
Well, the way the rates are determined is, you take the budget, that we go through, and if assume that gets approved, and then you calculate out how much revenue or how much consumption there'll be, and then the requisite amount of revenue that you will make to balance that expense budget. So it's hard to pin exactly how much consumption we're going to have. And so it's basically a guess based on historical usage. And so based on the guess of people coming, COVID winding down potentially, people going back to work, and potentially the consumption in town for the residential sector will potentially go down. So that's where the deficit, the potential deficit, I should stress, is coming from. Yeah. I mean, who knows how it's going to shake out in the next 8-9 months, right. but the projection is with those parameters that we would be light a little bit.
Yeah.
And also the, rising water bills means you sometimes use less water.
Right. And that was another thing is that when we did the rates 2 times ago, there was let's say a concern on the revenue side that people with the higher rates, when the wastewater treatment plant bond was starting to be paid off, that people would try to use less water. There's nothing like a high bill, to get people to conserve water. But with COVID and people staying home, they didn't have a lot of choice. So I think that's what's happened is that you base your assumptions on certain things, and when those things don't happen exactly according to plan, then the financial part gets messed up a little bit. And I think what we would find that if remote working continues to be a thing, I think we might find that our revenues will be fine because our consumption will be higher than is usual, and that would translate into revenues, and that would not translate into a deficit. But we're not going to know until December. So that's why, I think Molly and I feel, or I think the approach would be to pay this out of fund balance, and then let's sort of see how it goes over the next 8-9 months.
Yeah, I would agree, considering these deficits are they're a relatively small percentage of these unassigned fund balances. So I would agree.
Okay, great. I will pass that along to Russ. He was looking for an agreement from the committee, and I will tell him that we agree. So that's effectively what we have on our agenda. Any other questions or comments? We'll meet again probably sometime in early summer, June or so.
I just want to comment that, as you know, I'm going to be leaving country on August 1st. And I did talk to Russ, and he sounds like he would recommend that I just stay on the committee.
Right.
I may be able to attend some meetings through Zoom. I'm not sure about that, until I kind of figure out my whole situation, where we're going to be,
Right.
In Costa Rica. But so I just wanted to put it out there. I'm happy to try to serve if I can down there, but I may be not available to meet a quorum and things like that.
Right. Well, I appreciate you jumping in here. That actually is an interesting point. I know that on the budget committee, once we went back to in-person meetings, that there wasn't a Zoom option. This committee is a little bit different just because of the number of abatements and the impacts on people's time. But I'll see if I can find out from Russ. I mean, if I would love to still have you engaged on the budget end and certainly on the water and sewer end. So we'll see how that goes and see how you get set up in August. But that sounds like a nice adventure.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks. Russ he recommended that I step off of the
Right.
budget committee. Yeah, but I mean, it seems like the Zoom option may be something that at least the abatement applicants would actually appreciate, because and it seems like a lot of people have enjoyed Zooming in from their houses. So if that continues, then it seems like it wouldn't be much of a change to have one of the committee members join in as well. So.
Right.
Okay, great.
Well, that's all I have. If neither of you have anything else, we'll adjourn until June at some point and get one last swing at the Fabian Pinata. And again, thank you for jumping in and helping us out. And we'll
No problem.
we'll talk to you over the fence sometime.
We have a very localized representation right now. We're all kind of in the very small part
there
of
you
town.
go.
So.
All right. Seeing no other further comments or agenda items, the Water and Sewer Committee stands adjourned. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.